So why can't I flush my toilet when it rains a lot? That's our question this month on Evansville Water Talk. I'm Vic Kelson, Executive Director of Evansville Water and Sewer Utility. And as my guest this month, I have Shawn Wright. He's the Director of Planning for the Evansville Water and Sewer Utility. And we'll talk a bit about what can cause sewer backups when there's a lot of rain. So thanks for coming, Shawn.
You're welcome.
So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the kinds of sewers that there are. We have basically combined sewers, and then we have the separate sewer system. Where do problems we've been getting a lot of questions lately from customers who live in the area covered by the separate system, where stormwater and sanitary sewers are separate. So why can you get situations there when those sewers will back up?
Well, there's a lot of multifaceted concepts that work in play with, even though it is truly supposed to be a separate system where the sanitary is in one set of piping and the storm is in another, it's not always the case. And where homeowners will sometimes have their drains from their downspouts in, they will have sump pumps tied in. There are other things that will cause water into the sanitary system, which take up capacity. And when you have capacity taking up from water that's not intended to be there, it limits the capacity that people can actually flush down their toilet or their drains and stuff like that. So it gets really complicated very quickly when you have a lot of things happening at once when the piping's only designed to do so much.
That's right. So, and sanitary sewers tend to be smaller than storm sewers. But when we have a really large rain event where we get an inch or more of rain, what can quickly happen is water can flood on the landscape, and water can get into the sanitary sewer that shouldn't have been there. Because sanitary sewers, when they leak water in. They typically don't leak water out. So if you have a leaking sewer lateral on your home, a lot of homes have sewer cleanouts. And if water pools up and your cleanout isn't closed, it can leak in.
Correct.
If your home has the downspouts connected to the sanitary sewer, that can leak in. If you have a sump pump and it's connected to the sanitary, or a yard drain that's pumped to the sanitary, any of those can cause sewers in your neighborhood to back up.
One of the concepts that a lot of people forget is that a lot of the sanitary sewers follow Mother Nature and the gravity, which is also where the drainage is. So sometimes the sanitary piping and manholes will be in those drainage, and when they're not maintained and cleaned, they will actually back up and go into the sanitary, taking capacity again. So everything has to work together right to get it to work where you can flush. Now, just because it is working right doesn't mean there isn't other problems that can come about. So good maintenance and operations tend to really help, but the customer has to help as well.
That's right. We're all in this together. One of the things that can happen with the city's infrastructure is we have manhole covers for the sanitary sewer. If they have vent holes on them so that sewer gas doesn't build up in the sewer, when that happens, if there's flooding and the water level in the flooded area gets high enough, it will leak right into the manhole covers. That's a problem for us to work with.
Correct.
Here at the utility. So what we really want to focus on today is what you as a homeowner can do to help protect your home and your neighborhood. And the first one is help us help you keep water out of your home. And one of those ways to do that is to make sure that whenever it's going to rain, that you and your neighbors are having the caps put properly onto your sewer cleanouts.
That is one that we find a lot when we're doing some of the inspections for smoke testing in certain areas, that we'll find where the clean out caps, which are usually at the right of ways, have been removed or whatever, and they will go underwater, and instantly you're taking 4 inches of water inside an 8-inch pipe. You're taking a lot of capacity really quickly.
Or if you have downspouts that are connected to the sanitary sewer, that sanitary sewer is typically an 8-inch pipe. They don't hold a lot of water. So if you get 5 or 6 homes that are all connected to the same 8-inch pipe, it very quickly takes up all the capacity in the sewer. So really start looking for these cases where things can get into the sewer in your home or in your neighborhood, work with your neighbors on this, work with your neighborhood association to have everybody paying close attention to these factors. Another thing is, though, that when water, there are other reasons why water can rise up in your local sewer. A lot of our areas are covered by lift stations. Water levels in lift stations can happen when there's a power outage. And if that lift station water level gets too high, it can flow backwards into
But
your house. So, what can you do about that?
um, well, that's a great example of how the sanitary system that's separate, and if power's out and a pump station's backing up or whatever, the sanitary system is backing up. And if you have a low-lying area or a basement that becomes a low area below that, you potentially have flooding that could happen to the basement. One of the things I always recommend to everybody is a check valve. It's cheap insurance so that if the system is backing up where somebody puts something down that clogs the sewer or whatever, it keeps that water from backing up into you and keeps it out in the main line where it should be. So, one of the things you can do to help yourself is put a check valve in and help protect your own infrastructure.
Yes. So, a backflow valve or a check valve can be put in between your home. You should put it in between the home and the sewer clean out just in case water comes in the clean out. But that check valve will help you in the event that the sewer in your neighborhood backs up. So, especially if you've ever had an incident where you couldn't flush your toilet during a high water event, you probably should make sure you have a check valve because that will keep the sewage from backing up into your home. Report these situations to us always. Keep us informed when you have a situation where your sewers aren't flowing because we will be paying close attention in the areas where we have separate sewers. A lot of times it's associated with downstream stormwater issues that the city is committed to dealing with. It takes time, it takes money, it takes all of us to protect our homes from sewer backups.
Actually, one of the neat concepts you just pointed out that can help us a lot, that the customers don't realize when those things are happening, if you can report those instances to customer service where they can be tracked and stuff, it really helps us from a planning state because we start to understand where certain problems are happening where we might not be totally aware. And we're looking at an aged infrastructure thing to work on where we may have a capacity issue to go look at. So, anytime that you can report that to customer service and we can get it tracked, the better the utility becomes.
As always, we have a few questions that have come in from our previous viewers. The first ones we have today are regarding the disinfectant switch in our distribution system. Every year, a couple of times a year, we change our disinfectant from chloramine to chlorine for a few weeks. The purpose of that is to help us clean out the distribution system and keep it in good operating condition. Um, we've had comments that say things like it tastes like pool water or chemicals are in it or it can taste like dirt. I actually personally picked up on a little bit of a dirt taste the other day. This does happen sometimes. This year, we think it may be a little bit worse, particularly with the taste of dirt or and so forth, because the river is very, very low right now. Uh, this is a transient thing. It happens for a couple of weeks, a couple of times a year. But the reason we do it is to protect water quality and to keep our customers safe and protect you from anything that might be happening inside the distribution system. The other comments we have today have to do with our recently deployed sinkhole reporting system. When we get sinkholes reported, what we're calling a sinkhole is something that's associated with buried infrastructure that's causing a street to collapse, as opposed to a pothole, which is more related to a local situation. Sinkholes, when we get sinkholes, they're usually associated with either storm pipe or sewer.
Hmm.
The biggest one we're dealing with right now, of course, is the one on Riverside, and that's actually a very old sewer that's very deep in the ground. So we appreciate your comments and questions about that, and any reports that you have, we'll go into again. It's all part of our planning.
Helps us plan better.
Yeah, so we need to know where the problems are. We can't be everywhere all the time. A lot of the things that go wrong happen over fairly short periods of time. So anything that you have that's out of the ordinary, please use the reporting form online or let someone in customer service know. So thanks for coming, Shawn. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
being on today. And thanks for watching Evansville Water Talk.